public trust has helped generations of New Zealanders with their wills. Make yours today and ensure the things that matter go to the people that matter.
Need DVS home ventilation to keep your home drier, healthier and condensation free. Say yes to DVS. And wave goodbye to crying windows for good.
Maybe I got a discount because I'm a this spot.
Debatable.
Or maybe Subway's a sweet deal.
Subway value snack range from $2.70.
There's only one place to find moments like this.
Alasaver, touch on the front. Alasaver, yes, individual brilliance.
Only NRL. Sharks, Warriors. Today's Sky Sport.
Last year, a feat of its own, making the City of Champions. Thrilled to have another dynasty, but with only 30% of that roster from last year's championship returning, can the Free Jacks find themselves in position to hoist that precious shield once again? The old mate, the Supporters Cup, is on the line from Torero Stadium here in San Diego, California. The New England Free Jacks on the road to take on the California Legion. Alongside Mike Petrie, Joey Lindstrom, Mike, let's waste no more time getting right into the rosters. California with one game already under their belt.
They've already got one game under their belt, and they make 3 changes to that side that lost to Anthem last week. Ed Timpson will stay the engine room at number 8. Billy Meeks makes his debut for California this season, welcoming back after Chicago with the Hounds. That's a big name, and they are really excited to have him back in their lineup.
For this Legion group, it's a bit of a mixed bag. You also mentioned Billy Meeks there for New England. This is a group that has only returned 30% of their championship roster. They lose a couple of big names. Who's going to stand out for you today?
Yeah, that's right. They have 6 players making their debut tonight, but they have held on to some fan favorites. The face of the franchise, if you follow social media, Kyle Sekera, he'll line up alongside US Eagle. Caleb Geiger up front. More on him momentarily. And New England fans will be thrilled to have Captain Joe Johnston back again to lead the charge for that unheard of 4th consecutive MLR title hunt that begins today.
You mentioned Caleb Geiger. There is the big hoss ready to make some hay here with this New England group alongside the newcomer, Nathan Salmon, highly acclaimed in his first year in the MLR. They're going to have to be big today, Mike.
That's right, and it's the names we keep hearing over and over again. Every time we have a conversation with people in that New England Free Jacks camp, these 2 names come up. Caleb Geiger, one of the rugby star, Henry Pollock, that is, the epitome of what you want to see all over your television screen. He's got the attitude, the skills, and everything else. And by all accounts, that's the same news we're getting about what to expect from that young man as he makes his debut for New England today.
Might be a fish going upstream, Mr. Nathan Salmon. There's California Legion as they make their debut in the second of 5 different home venues across the great state of California. It's all next. The Supporters Cup is on the line. The old mate might find some new mates if New England could hold. I'll be back with you after the break.
Unapologetic. United. Major League Rugby.
What are we having for dinner?
Burgers?
Ooh, let's get takeout. Restaurant is prepping your order.
Explore the world the Viking way. Unpack once and we'll take care of the rest.
The Viking Savings event is on now. Book ahead and for a limited time only, save up to 35% on your next river voyage. See your Viking travel advisor or book now at Viking.com.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel. Say thank you for being a friend.
Take it MC in your eye then.
Yeah, she has.
Great.
Eye conditions can be a little, well, alarming. That's why at Specsavers we're here to help you get the treatment you need. Should have gone to Daddy's Icky Eye Savers.
This evening's broadcast is brought to you by CTMS Travel, the official travel partner of Major League Rugby. Stop managing travel, start moving. A beautiful day in San Diego. There are far worse places to have a rugby match, especially a home rugby match. And while California Legion would love to get this place, a legendary stadium in its own right, Torero Stadium, as more than one home game, they'll take it here for the day. There is our head man from the referee spot, Mike Lawrenson, at 4 matches with the MLR last year as the head referee. Half of those were with the New England Free Jacks. And there is the rest of our crew: Chris Asmus, Will Nelson, the assistants, and Austin Reed, the in-stadium rules official.
How's it going, mate? Little cameo there in the back. I have Balanese Malifa walking out delivering the game balls.
Good eye.
With some of the kids. Yep, Nesse's been around in the coaching ranks throughout the MLR, and so good to see him make a cameo right before kickoff.
These two teams, if you really want to get tactical about the series history, they don't have any. This is the first matchup between the newly formed California Legion and the New England Free Jacks. Winners of 3 MLR Shields in a row. We have gotten started right out the gate. The home Reds for the California Legion and the road Whites for the New England.
Lots of boxes to tick, but every coach talked about physicality. You got to start aggressive. You got to lay that tone down and lay a marker down very early. And we see right out of the gates, though, New England opting not to kick, which is expected usually off those kickoffs. It goes deep around the 22, and instead they have a run to the outside channel, get the ball in Mitch Wilson's hands. And now, already, very early, they're camped out on the California Legion 40-meter mark.
Okay, stay now.
Territory being a big part of the reason why Ryan Martin felt like this group was able to take advantage, especially in the
just in situations like this, you get a free kick right away off the line out. A little bit of hesitation. I think in these senses, you just want to have a little bit more urgency. I know it's very early in the game, but you get that mark, the referee gives it to you, go ahead and play, but they start very simple, go into their systems, get into their shape.
So Oscar Lennon is the scrum half, the number 9 for this group. You see him involved on most plays in these kind of instances. Shared forward, nice little run on. Higgins there, passes one more. One-timer there for Lennon, and it's carried down just ahead of maybe the 10-meter mark if you want to be specific. New England on the run to start out. Joe Johnston was in there as well as Jacob Norris. Norris, a Maori All Black as well. New England looks to be heavy on the advantage for Ryan Martin's squad. Stephen Hoyles of California down in discipline. Flipped back and now reaches the touchline. Let's stay with the Free Jacks.
And you threw that word discipline out. That was another thing that coaches repeated throughout our conversations, was discipline being really important. And how about this break, though, from New England right out of the gates? I mean, some good looking continuity there, good offloads out of contact, all out the back, sort of backhanded passes there. So really sharp. And how about this? New England, a penalty directly in front of the posts. Very early in the game, you're less than 3 minutes in, you're on the road, and you go to the corner. That
to muscle each other up here at the 5 meter.
Okay, now use it.
Oscar Lennon works behind the grouping. New England looks well in system and in form, dodging a bullet there on the sideline. Taken down was Nathan Salmon as he got disrupted, and Ryan James is there to try to wiggle his way through for California as the referee Mike Lawrenson stops play once again.
Joey, there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, and I think New England flirted with it very, very early in this game. 3 minutes in, you want to lay a marker down. You want to get that reputation of, yes, they're a very changed side, lots of new faces. Like you said, 30% retention rate, a lot of confident people in that group. You're coming off the back end of 3 title wins, and you go to the corner and you give up that opportunity for 3 points. Me personally, I would have taken 3 points when they're on offer right away. Just get 3 points on the board just to start the game off.
Wait.
So it's possession for California. Gonzalo Bertrand works it back, and it's kicked to the gain some territory, and Nathan Salmon scoops it there for New England. Works back to 15 in white. Mitch Wilson, the fullback, and the Aussie. A large only 30% of your roster returning, 70% of the guys being new. There's a culture shift that needs to take place, Mike, and they're finding that. What we see already, standard New England fashion with that confidence playing. You said there's a fine line there. You want to make sure that, of course, you're playing confident, not arrogant. This group seems to be well informed already.
Leave it.
Steaming already for this opener.
Use it. Yeah, pulls out.
What's the advantage, though, for California with 1 game under their belt already, having even lost that game coming into week 2?
Yeah, a couple things I think for California right now. First and foremost, we mentioned Billy Meeks at the top of the show, stepping back into this lineup. Now, he's not unfamiliar on the West Coast. He has played some rugby in Los Angeles, but, you know, former 7-star for the Wallabies, former back of the year in Major League Rugby. He's a household name at this point. And so to have him in your lineup, as you see him there on screen, putting his hand up, calling for reinforcements in the number 12 shirt, I mean, that's a big boost. And then, like you said, playing in Torero Stadium, doesn't get any better than that for Legion fans.
Nice pooch forward. It's going to be held up nicely there by Rory Van Voot. Started every game in Atlanta with 8 minutes of the MLR Championship Final in 2021. Taking his talents here to California.
Joe.
Well, how about this? Corner of the New England Free Jacks, Patrick Chung. A hard-hitting safety from back in the day. Make sure you join the conversation with the MLR. Hashtag MLR 2026. Great to see. Last night, Marshawn Lynch on the Seattle Seawolves popped up. Nice little play forward. Heading that down is Nathan Salmon, and it trickles out of play.
Goal line drop out.
It'll be a goal line opportunity here. Out of their own end, rather, for California.
And New England is showing that they're playing into that second layer of attack very early. They've done that several times so far, played into those wide channels on the outside, and they're finding space in behind. They have a lot of opportunity in their back line with playmakers that can have that run, pass, kick option. And so they're looking up and they're seeing space. You just got to be careful in the stadium because it's such short in-goal area.
Spent a lot of time on the right side of our halfway line. New England clearly playing an advantage, trying to muscle their way through for some points early in this one. That's Keenan Higgins, the center from Upper Hutt, New Zealand. Works down Mitch Wilson, the fullback on the outside, along with Nathan Salmon.
Slowing it down.
Oscar Lennon, a well-traveled player, and been with Bristol. He can kick off both feet as well. Competing with Ethan McVeigh for that number 9 spot in preseason and winning the job, at least for the first week. Opportunity here to place further here for New England.
Option.
And this has to have been something they talked about as a team. You've mentioned that they've enjoyed all the territory and all of the possession for this entirety of 8 minutes so far in this match. And they go to the corner again. That was well within kicking range for Joel Hodgson. We've seen him time and time again slot those easily. And instead they go to the corner, and again, they miss an opportunity. So far, 2 kicks at goal that they could have had. They could have had, at that point, 6 points on the board if you count them both. Missed both. So walking away with nothing at this point. And, you know, again, big statements from New England very early in this game.
You saw Billy Meeks grace the screen there as well. 73 appearances in the MLR with 4 different teams. He was on Rugby Football Club LA last year. Played for Chicago in 2023 and 2024. An all-15 selection. He's going to be big today in his first action after returning from injury. And what a great special our production team in combination here with OS and MLR put together for that Billy Meeks video with our benevolent technical director, Will Hooley. Did you get a chance to check that out? He was up at 4 a.m. shotgunning Red Bulls. No, I'm just kidding. But that's something you might do.
I think he's still on Australian time, maybe, because that is just wild. I mean, I like to think that. Look at this, California going way over the top. I love that.
I can't have you have the throw when you aren't even in the line. Let's have it again.
Of course, he's working out. Also owns a coffee shop in Orange County. A really cool story out of Billy Meeks. What happened here, Mike?
If you own a coffee shop, you got to be there early. But you can see, we've mentioned his name a few times. You got to put the ball in his hand, and that's exactly what they try to do. They just throw that ball right over the top, try to catch New England sleeping, and throw it straight to Meeks.
Joe T, American Samoan, the hooker to throw in.
Stolen in the maul. Play on. Stolen in the maul.
A soft-spoken guy has a unique sense of when things get hard. He's got the shiny teeth, according to Stephen Hoyles. And this team had their fair share of adversity last week, as this is kicked way deep, and California will have to get out of their own end. Colby Milne, Australian Western Force product, in his first MLR action, boots this one away. A little extra curricular there.
It's going to be a free kick.
Mike Lawrence is not going to have any of that along the touchline, and California will at least have it in their possession in the offensive zone.
It hasn't gone 5 meters in the past. It's a free kick. It's a free kick, guys. Back 10. It's a free kick. It didn't go 5.
Want to play wide. They're playing into their layers. California is a very similar type of team, but now we're seeing both teams sort of settle in around midfield, put some kicks in and through, and try to just move the opposition around the field to find some opportunities to play.
That's Joel Hodgson booting that ball forward, trading punting here. Hodgson coming over from Utah. He is currently the second highest point total holder among active players coming over from Utah. 329 points, a huge addition, and really a replacement for Jason Patra of New England lore. That was going to be a big hole to fill. This group lost a ton of impact players. Think about Paula Belancano, who led the league in scoring a season ago, at least, and also led in tries. This group was not hurting, but they needed to reload instead of rebuild.
They absolutely did. And that time, you got a good look at someone who's stepping into that role of wing for New England. Nathan Salmon, we talked about him a little bit, just fronts up on Lance Williams. Lance Williams is an absolute unit, just running down that near touchline. And Nate Salmon just stepped right in front of him, gave him a shoulder, and then drew the penalty for his team. California trying to play a little bit too quickly, leaves their feet. And so a great opportunity here for New England, which is unfortunately thrown over the top, though.
Caleb Geiger loses the handle on it. Ryan James a little hezzy, and he tries to work through on the line break near the halfway line. It's scooped up by Billy Meeks.
That's right.
Nice little fake out there from Ryan James. USA Eagle squad hunter. Play back on the outside, work down there. That's Lance Williams, the flanker. And Bertrand now wants to move so quickly for this group just to get back on offense. That was evident last week against Anthem. They just weren't able to get the ball down.
Wait, Red,
For points.
Okay, White, come back. Out the space,
That ball
White.
booted high in the air. Played back and down. Wrestling Roy Van.
Row here, but you can expect a little bit of dazzle from California right now as they finally have a chance to launch their first attacking platform from this line out.
This feels like
Interfere with the transfer, jumping across
an element of change coming in the way that this game has started to evolve a little bit, with New England really just being shot out of a cannon to start this one. Now, you find yourself, if you're California Legion, in a position, you get a good phase here. Mike, you might be able to find yourself your first try. As Milne puts toe to leather to try to plot down for more territory.
And Joey, I think that going back to those decisions very early in the game, now we're 15 minutes gone. New England still, with you mentioned that donut on the scoreboard. There's got to be a part of them that wants to go back and get at least 3 from one of those kicks, from those penalties, and instead they're backed up against their own goal line right now.
No contest.
The Supporters Cup is on the line. It remains with the champion to start the season. The old mate. Somebody's going to have a cold one out of that Stein by the end of it. Maybe it's California where they can hold it. Here's Bertrand now. Unsettled situation. Try to get it into Meeks. And the whistle's blown just ahead of the 5.
Let's come back for a penalty here, side entry.
And that's 3 penalties in a row now against New England. California has just been walking upfield, kick after kick, 2-touch. And California is going to go to the corner. So both teams, again, showing that intent to play, showing that intent that they don't want to put points on the board by kicking. They want to punch in, especially for California. They want to give their fans something to cheer for. And now they've got to go to work. But that was a clear side entry at the maul. So California gets another shot at this one.
Way up top goes the captain, Jason Dom.
Hold it.
Everybody trying to muscle forward. The big hog mollies up front. It's Joe Tafate carrying right now, trying to reach forward for that try. And Mike Lawrenson trying to determine where all the bodies fell.
Okay, we're going to do a referee review.
And there you hear it. It's great to have the access that we do, especially Mike Lawrenson being mic'd up throughout the entire matchup. He's basically the 3rd member of our broadcast crew. And with the new referee review system, he's going to take a second look, Mike. Big Joe T. Came over from